Have you ever said, what the heck is cryptocurrency? Can your business be using cryptocurrency? What are you missing out on? Well, today I'm talking with the co-host of the Bad Crypto podcast and best-selling author, Joel Comm, all about cryptocurrency. This is going to be so good. I'm so excited to have him on because I have just like so many things that we are going to like nerd out about, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. And so this is the Marketing for Your Boring Business live show and podcast. I am your host, Desiree, and we are here to help your message get seen in that cluttered newsfeed. We are here every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And if you are watching this on Facebook, make sure you type boring in the comment section now so that you can get updated about when our next show is. And hey, if you are listening on the replay with our podcast or on YouTube, make sure you hit that big old subscribe button as well so that you can get notified when the show happens every single week. Like I said, we have Joel Comm on the show today. But before we dive in, I want to thank everybody who is watching us live and has decided to give us some time and learn about cryptocurrency. Please ask any questions that you have, whether it's during the live stream or on the replay. We'll make sure to get those questions asked for you. So let me tell you a little bit about Joel. Joel is a New York Times bestselling author, blockchain enthusiast, podcast host, professional keynote speaker, social media marketing strategist, live video expert, technologist, brand influencer, futurist, and eternal 12-year-old. It's a lot of things, and I love every single one of them. With over 2 decades of experience in harnessing the power of the web, publishing, social media, and mobile applications to expand your reach and engage in active relationship marketing, Joel is a sought-after public speaker who leaves his audience inspired and entertained. Welcome to the show, Joel.
We're live.
Yay, we're here.
Brought to you by Sendible.
Yeah, so why don't you tell me about how you got started with cryptocurrency?
You know, I like to be really early to playing with all the new toys. And I think that's why I've been on the front lines of so many different technologies. And I actually remember hearing about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency a few years ago, but I didn't really pay much attention because I didn't understand it. This notion of mining Bitcoin, like what is there, a little guy inside my computer on the processor going ding, 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 ding. And I didn't get it. And I didn't try to understand it. So I kind of which is really unusual for me. Usually I'm like, what is this? And I nerd out. It wasn't until I want to say early in 2017 that I finally started paying attention. And it turned out my friend Travis Wright, who's the co-host of the show, also was really going down the Bitcoin rabbit hole. And our discussions on Messenger almost daily were about cryptocurrency. And after several months of this, one day he just flippantly messaged me and said, when are we going to start the TW and Joel crypto show? And he kind of was, with a winky face. He was being sarcastic about it. But when he said that, I thought, I'm calling you right now. And I called him. I said, let's do it. Let's start the show. We're not experts. We're not financial advisors. Let's just document our journey down the crypto rabbit hole. We'll call it the Bad Crypto Podcast because we let people know right up front that we're just going to have fun with this and invite people to go on the journey with us. And the thing it exploded. It was just the right time, the right personalities and the right market and the right style that we used. And now we've recorded over 300 shows. And we get to travel around and speak at various events about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and teach people. We're doing a workshop at Social Media Marketing World on blockchain for marketers. We're at that same week, we're teaching at San Diego State University and doing a blockchain workshop for students there. And we're just having a great time, still learning and having fun.
Well, we're definitely going to want to dive into all things cryptocurrency, probably even explaining a little bit about what it is. But before we do, we got to show a little bit of love for our sponsor for our show, Sendible. Sendible. We're talking a lot about things that you can do that are new for your business. And honestly, it doesn't matter what new things it is that you're doing. If you are not making sure the information is getting out into the world. But how are you going to share it everywhere? How are you supposed to track the success? How are you supposed to know if this is even worth your time? You're not measuring it. You're not making sure it works. Well, let me help you out, guys. Let me tell you about Sendable, which is the only solution that you are going to need. Sendable allows for you to manage all of your social media in one place. You're allowed to schedule posts on all the major social platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You can get reports about what is and isn't working, demographics, and the best times that you should be posting. And of course, you can track and answer comments all from the Sendable homepage. This is the official social media software for the all-in-one social media team. I have been testing softwares for the 9 years I have been doing social media marketing, and I always come back to Sendable because it truly is the easiest and most comprehensive tool on the market. So make sure you click the link in the description to get your free 30-day trial. And if you have any questions, of course, please let us know in the comment section, because definitely want to make sure that we help you find the best software for you. So today we're talking with Comm about what you need to know about cryptocurrency and how you can use it for your boring business. If you're watching this on Facebook, make sure you type boring into the comment section now so that you can subscribe to our show. And if you are listening on the podcast replay or our YouTube replay, make sure you hit subscribe to those channels as well so you don't miss the show, which comes to you every single week. So let's bring Joel back on, and he's going to tell us what we need to know about blockchain. So I
want to know what the cat just knocked over.
That's actually my dogs. I have two. I have a puppy and an old lady, and they were playing. And literally right next to my desk is the doggy door that goes outside.
What kind of puppy?
We have a new puppy. He is a pincer and Australian cattle mix. That's a new one for me. And he's my dog. He's my son's dog, but my son goes to school during the day, so I have to keep it.
You handled that like a professional. You just went straight through, but I'm like, I'm going to talk about it.
I'm always hoping that the background noise doesn't pick up on the mic, but you never know.
It's real. This is this is live. This is how we roll.
This is how we roll. All right. So for those of us, including myself, that are like, what the heck is cryptocurrency? Can you give us the super boring basic version of what this definition of this is?
It's digital money. That's, look, the nations of the world print money. In the US, it's dollars that are backed by the trust of the government, and we use that as currency to transact with one another. But if you look at, for example, the US dollar, it is deflationary. The value of a dollar goes down more and more every year. It takes more of them to buy things. That is because there is a seemingly infinite supply of money. The government prints more. We don't know how much there actually is. The Federal Reserve Bank, which is neither federal nor a reserve and not a government agency, has never been audited. So we don't actually know how much money is actually even out there. Those hard-earned dollars are worth less and less every year. In 2008, a person or group of persons under the pseudonym of the name Satoshi Nakamoto released a white paper for a new type of digital currency that would be decentralized, that the power would not be in the hands of a government or a financial entity, but it would be in the power of the people. By being decentralized, nobody would have control over it, and there would only be 21 million Bitcoin ever issued. So that means that there's scarcity involved in it. It is a peer-to-peer payment system that is fully decentralized, and the power is taken away from the governments and the financial institutions. And because of that, it has become a store of value for individuals, and it's also a way to control your money in a way that won't necessarily become worthless. Now, it's still very speculative because we've yet to reach a mainstream adoption for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. But I can tell you this, that regardless of what the prices are, every second, everywhere around the world, development of blockchain-based technologies such as Bitcoin are moving forward, and major financial institutions and governments are figuring out how they get in on it. And so this is like, I got into the internet at the beginning pretty much. I was dialing into bulletin board services in 1980 on 300 baud modem. So I've been online for like 34 years dialing in to the online world. And I built my first website in 1995. So very early on the World Wide Web. And right now what we're experiencing feels like that. To me, this is where it is going. This is the future.
So do you think that there's a concern of other people just making a form of digital money?
Well, there's not a concern. It's a good thing. There's just like, competition, the cream is always going to rise to the top. The market is going to decide. Bitcoin has been around the longest of all the cryptocurrencies. I think the market capitalization today, as of this broadcast, is about $130 billion. Bitcoin accounts for 52% of that. And there are literally thousands of other tokens and cryptocurrencies that are using blockchain technology. So the Bitcoin dominance is high. I don't think that there's any concern that Bitcoin is going to go away.
Okay. And I think I actually remember reading something. Didn't a big major bank just recently started accepting Bitcoin?
Well, it's not that they're accepting it, is that there's a lot of financial institutions that are creating, without getting too much in the weeds of finances, what they call ETFs, so that people can trade futures of cryptocurrencies. And there's a number of technologies that'll be launching soon. And you've got like Fidelity getting into the game. You've got JP Morgan that is issuing their own stable coin, which is basically a coin that's pegged to the US dollar, so that remittances can be super fast. When you send let's say you want to send a wire transfer from one location to another, you got to go to your bank, you got to set it up, they charge you a fee, and it takes hours, sometimes the next day, before it gets there. With cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin, you can send money from point A to point B in a matter of minutes, and the fees are negligible. They're low, oftentimes just a few cents in order to send a transaction. So it solves a lot of problems.
So how can our boring business audience get started with understanding what to do with cryptocurrency? Because I know a lot of us are like, obviously, especially in the States, like it's just a lot of like dollars and cents, credit cards or cash or checks. So if people are starting to ask them like, hey, do you accept cryptocurrency and stuff? What do they do to sort of like get started with that and figure out how they can use as a part of their business?
Yeah, so accepting cryptos has gotten really easy now. In fact, one of our sponsors for the show is Coin Payments, coinpayments.net. They integrate with a number of platforms so that you can begin accepting a number of different cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and a lot of others on your website, so that if you're selling a product and you want to give people the option to pay with a cryptocurrency, you can do that. Getting started is not that difficult. Coinbase.com is the most popular exchange in the United States, at least, and where you can buy Bitcoin, Litecoin, and other cryptocurrencies, and open up a wallet online. And then there's even apps. There's like the Robinhood app has no fee trading that you can do. In fact, let me see if I can just pull it up here and I'll show it to you guys. Might even have a link for you here, but it's a free app, iOS. I think it's also on Android, but it has commission-free trading for a number of stocks, and you can trade several cryptos on there as well. And there it is, Robinhood. Oh, can't see it.
I'm actually pretty familiar with that. My husband has been looking into those kinds of things lately, Acorn, Robinhood, that kind of thing. And I think Robinhood was the best looking one because of the no fees. And it's sort of like they have a long-term business model versus like a short-term one. So I can support that one as well if you're looking to. But I think it's cool that you can use cryptocurrency to trade in the stock market. So are you able to then once let's say you make money, like in a year or two, like you make money off of it, like, okay, I'm ready to cash out. Can you cash it out in cryptocurrency only, or can you cash it out in dollars?
No, you can cash out in dollars. A coin. There's two ways to cash out. Obviously, there's trading between cryptocurrencies. There's a number of cryptos. Without going too far in depth, I can buy Bitcoin with Ethereum. I can buy Litecoin with Bitcoin. There's just a lot of different ways to transact. But I can, if I go to Coinbase or Robinhood, I could use my US dollars to buy crypto, and I can sell back into US dollars on either one. So sometimes, if I'll trade a crypto and then I'll cash it out into US dollars, and I'll connect my Coinbase account directly to my bank account, and it just does a direct deposit of that money. We're going to see more and more of this hit the mainstream. You're going to see more Bitcoin ATMs popping up. You're going to hear of more businesses taking Bitcoin. You're going to see more people selling real estate for Bitcoin or other cryptos. And, in 10 years from now, it'll be ubiquitous.
So because we are still, the marketing for your boring business podcast. So once you decide that cryptocurrency is like the right thing for you to add as another form of revenue for your business, how can you get the word out about that? How can you use this as a way to market your business?
Well, I think that there's a lot of people looking for ways to spend their cryptocurrency. Adoption is the key. It's one thing to follow the hype of, the price of Bitcoin, but the real key is going to be in adoption, is in people using it. So when you discover that, I can spend my cryptocurrency on this website, so alerting your audience and your customers that we now accept Bitcoin. Overstock.com was the first major online merchant to accept Bitcoin. Patrick Byrne, who's the CEO, was visionary. And in 2014, Overstock made news because they were the first one to start accepting crypto for payments of all the goods that they sold. And to this day, they still do.
That's very cool. So I think it's just mostly this getting the word out, maybe adding a sign to your front desk if you have a brick and mortar, adding something to your website, doing social media.
Put a sticker posts in your window.
Just basically adding it in as another thing that you're talking about on in your marketing as another piece to put it into there, right?
You will be accepting cryptocurrency. If you're doing business, you will be accepting cryptocurrency. It's not if, it is a when. So why not pioneer and be on the front lines of it? And especially if, right now, we're seeing some signs of, even though the economy is great, the dollar is strong, economies can be fragile. And if we keep going further and further in debt as a country, the trillions of dollars in debt we are, it's just a matter of time before we can't pay that debt, and the value of the dollar will go down even more. So I am not a financial advisor, and you need to do your own due diligence and seek financial advice. But I like to hedge I hear your puppies. I like to hedge my bets a little bit and have diversified resources. So some is in cash, some is in CD, some is in precious metals like gold and silver, and some is in crypto. And I think that's a good idea for everybody to be prepared to transact in cryptocurrency, either because out of necessity or because it just makes sense. There's the puppy.
Yes, this is him. This is Vinny.
Puppy.
Sometimes you need to snuggle a puppy to get him to stop barking.
Yeah.
So are you able to use you're able to use cryptocurrency worldwide? So this could help you with international growth if you want to go on trips, all this kind of thing. Is this kind of almost you said something interesting about the dollar is strong. It's important to make sure that you're doing early adoption and stuff like that. Do you think it's kind of how people have been collecting gold since we had the last recession? It's just making sure that you're covered in case the dollar does tank?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not a financial advisor, but it just makes sense to me to diversify your assets and have things spread out. The stock market goes up, it goes down. Crypto goes up, goes down. The dollar just goes down. And so that's all it does. The dollar just goes down. $100 today doesn't buy what $100 5 years ago would buy. And that didn't buy what $100 5 years before that would buy. And so over time, the value of fiat currencies, paper money, which have no value in and of themselves, right? If you look at paper, this is just a piece of paper. There's no inherent value in a piece of paper. It's backed by the trust of the government. But coins, and I wish I had one handy. I don't have sometimes I have a little silver coin on my desk. It is valued by everybody because it in itself is a precious metal. It is a rarer commodity that people trade in. Paper, anybody can trade in paper, and the government prints it up like it's paper.
Every government does.
Every government does. When we went off the gold standard, that's when things really started going weird. And to really go down the rabbit hole, what's amazing about gold and silver is a lot of the trading that takes place is on paper. They're not actually exchanging the gold and silver. They're exchanging promissory notes. And so the prices of gold and silver are suppressed because they're not actually trading the real metal. They're just trading it on paper. And so if it was allowed to go where it really should be, the prices of gold and silver, I think, would be significantly higher.
So let's say I start taking in cryptocurrency, and I currently, for my business, I currently use credit card processing for all of my money, which is another
what percent do you pay to the credit card company for those transactions?
I think because I use Stripe, I think it's like 2.9% plus 30 cents every transaction.
If you were taking crypto, you wouldn't be, your transaction fees would be negligible. They would be so small as to you wouldn't even notice them. That's the difference. And in fact, when you think about how much of the world is unbanked, right? You've got 2 billion or so people in the world that are unbanked. There's developing nations, there's third world countries where, let's say you've got somebody in a poor region of, we'll just pick Africa, because a lot of people, when they think of third world, they think there's the third world countries down there, right? And somebody there is fortunate enough to come to America and get a job. They want to send some money back to their family. They want to send $10 to their family. That would make a huge difference for them back home. To send that $10 is probably going to cost them a $10 fee to send that money from the United States to Africa. But with cryptocurrency, they could send that $10 for a few cents. And that makes all the difference. And so banking the unbanked is one of the huge visions of what crypto is. It's a great equalizer for people to be able to transact with one another without the interference of governments or financial institutions that are in business to use your money for their profit.
Yeah, I do have to say, and I'm sure all of us who take credit cards feel that sting every single time, that there's some of those things like you kind of almost have to, like a convenience fee almost that you have to pay. So back to this scenario. So I start accepting it as a form of currency for my business. When I take in cryptocurrency and I take in dollars with credit card processing or collecting payments, are they considered separate forms of currency? Like, I can only spend cryptocurrency, or people spend cryptocurrency, and I can only spend dollars where dollars are accepted?
Well, you can take your crypto and sell it on an exchange into dollars if you want to. Or you can just keep it as an investment, and you can watch it go up or watch it go down, just like any other holding that you would have. Okay, very cool.
So what are sort of what would you tell somebody, to our boring business owners, someone that's maybe been around for a little while, they're like, I do what I do, and people are asking, or they're interested in this. How would you advise them to get started with
Listen to the Bad Crypto Podcast.
Okay, perfect.
Because honestly, our show really is designed for people who are just getting started. In fact, go back and listen to episode number 1, because those first few episodes we do were really all about the basics. What is cryptocurrency? What is Bitcoin? We'll have you understanding what blockchain is. It's not nearly as complex as you might be intimidated to think it is. And once you understand how blockchain works and how Bitcoin is mined, your mind is gonna go, oh, I get it. I understand now.
That sounds really, really cool. If you guys are just tuning in, we have been talking to Comm about how you can use cryptocurrency as a part of your business for all of you boring business owners. If you are loving what Joel has to share, please type boring in the comment section now, and it is going to let you subscribe to our show on Facebook Live, and you will get a message from us every single week saying, hey, we got a new show to help your boring business. Get that message seen in that cluttered newsfeed. And make sure that you guys are also, if you're listening on the podcast or YouTube, hit that subscribe button now so that you can get notified when we have our show that replays every single week on those platforms. All right, Joel, what are your final thoughts about this to really like ease people's mind into understanding that this isn't just some like nerdy thing that, or another thing that they have to do or whatever it is? What do we do to like do the solid sell and make them like, yes, okay, I can do this?
Okay, I'm a futurist. My track record in calling the next big thing in tech has been impeccable. I was on the web in 95. I was building a coupon site for deal hunters in 99. I sold a site to Yahoo in 1997. I had one of the first 1,000 apps in the iTunes App Store. And the list of things that I've been able to do goes on. And I'm telling you, not from a financial perspective, from a technology perspective, that blockchain technology, which is what Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are built on, is here to stay. Just as I bought the first iPhone that came out in 2007, I paid $600 for that first iPhone because I said the smartphone is going to be it. And it has changed the world. Blockchain is going to change the world. It's going to change how we transact, interact, invest, purchase, and do so many other things. So either you learn now or you learn later, and that's totally up to you. But I'm going to say don't miss it.
I think that those are great words for us to close out our show with. Thank you so much for being on, Joel. If you guys want to connect with Joel, you definitely want to go check out the Bad Crypto Podcast. You can also follow him on social at Joel Comm with 2 M's for those of you that are listening. And I hope that you guys have really enjoyed today's show. Thank you so much for being on, Joel. This was awesome and such an important education for all of us, I am sure.
My pleasure, Desiree.
Thank you. It's all right, guys. If you are following us on social, make sure you like us with hashtag boring business and share across all the platforms. And thank you so much for joining us today, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Marketing Your Boring Business. If you like this episode, please leave a review on iTunes. Share this episode on social media. One more. Subscribe to the latest episode of Marketing Your Boring Business. This podcast is presented by All in One Social Media.